Hello and welcome to Newsblitz. I am Before we continue, remember the coronavirus is a deadly disease. So for at least 20 seconds regularly or use a hand sanitizer. Also, wear a face mask when outside and maintain some physical distancing. We'll begin with news that the federal government on Monday declared that no COVID-19 test was required for returning students to be admitted into their schools. The government says only temperature checks should be carried out on students. In a statement released by the ministry's Director of Press and Public Relations, Bem Gong, the government warned school authorities against asking students or parents to undergo COVID-19 tests before they are accepted in their schools. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Governors Forum on Monday said it will meet on Wednesday to chart a way out of the second wave of the pandemic as schools reopen across the country. In a statement signed by his spokesman, Abdulrazak Bello Barikendo, the Governors Forum said it was alarmed by the intensity of the second wave of the global pandemic and the country's, quote, tardy commencement of inoculation. Nigeria's number of new cases has skyrocketed in recent weeks, seeing the nation cross the 100,000 mark for total infections. The Nigerian Governors Forum meeting will be the first for the governors in 2021 and will be conducted virtually. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, had over the weekend approved the closure of enrollment activities at the headquarters of the National Identity Management Commission, Abuja. Instead, the minister had directed that 20 centers within the FCT be reactivated as from Monday to make the process of national identification number enrollment much easier from today. Our correspondent Aundona Ingia went round some of these centers within the FCT to see just how the exercise was progressing.
Last week, the headquarters of the National Identification Management Commission in Abuja was besieged by a huge crowd hoping to register for the national identity number. Despite their best efforts, enrollment officers seemed to be overwhelmed by the huge crowd at their premises. Fears of COVID-19 has resulted in the reactivation of enrollment centers across the FCT, but the scenes at these centers on Monday remain chaotic.
You see that this one is very close to us. We now come here since morning. This is hotel, and federal government and is aware of this one is hotel. People from far places are travelers. They sleep inside. So this thing start today here, and now when we come now today, the people that are already inside they sleep inside. When they see the advantage, they want to take the advantage to be paying their money inside. They are paying money inside. We are sure of this one since when we come in the morning. Nobody. This is you can see time. This is after 12, and there's no one. Since we come in the morning here, no one they did among us here. We form about how many type of queue here. We write our name in different papers. They are delaying our time. Since morning we are here, we didn't get anything.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning. We are outside. They say we should write name. We write name. They will direct us to queue to come and form a line here. From here, they will direct us to another place again. And so people are enter. They are paying money, 5,000 naira to do the register. I'm tired.
This is one of the centers reactivated for the purpose of making the registration for the national identification number a little bit easy. But from complaints we've gathered here this hour, it appears that it has been a very difficult one for most people who have gathered here to register. And I've also gathered that due to concerns from the management of this facility, the registration might have to be put on hold for now.
The same scenes are replicated at this second center, as visibly irritated people refuse to speak about their experiences. Despite the challenges, the exercise seemed to be crawling along. Officials are giving assurances that the challenges will be addressed before the close of work on Monday. Slow progress is being made, but what has become obvious is that the federal government may have to extend this enrollment exercise beyond the deadline set between 19th of January and 9th of February 2021. From Abuja, Aonduna India, Silverbird, News 24.
The Royal Special Air Service, or SAS, of the United Kingdom, the Navy SEALs deployed by the United States and Israel, Shayatet 19 or 13, are all military elite special forces across the world. In Nigeria, the Nigerian Air Force has also invested heavily in the training and deployment of special forces and combined search and rescue personnel. Correspondent Anduna India introduces us to the Panthers, Nigeria's elite combat group in the Nigerian Air Force.
The first encounter with this elite combat group gives you an impression that its personnel are simply of a different breed. The morale is high as they prepare to demonstrate to the Chief of the Air Staff and other senior officers of Nigerian Air Force the knowledge and skills acquired in the course of their training. The demonstration starts with a water maneuver.
Since then, their mission will be compromised.
The demonstration maneuvers reach the peak where the combat search and rescue team displays its rescue and extraction capabilities. The training of these individuals is obviously top-notch, which means the process to select team members is probably cutthroat. What is the motive of Nigerian Air Force in setting up the elite special forces?
Special forces and combat search and rescue training are only designed globally for the fittest personnel equipped with the right attitude. This is because these courses are rigorous in nature, both physically and mentally, to ensure that personnel can withstand difficult operational and environmental scenarios.
This command! Position of attention! This command! This command!
You have earned your place here and have been found worthy to become Panthers and combat search and rescue operators of the service. You are graduating at a time when the Nigerian Air Force, and indeed the nation, is in dire need of your special skills to restore normalcy in resty parts of the country.
I not be able to wield a gun or jump down from an helicopter or perhaps carry out any of the maneuvers you saw here a short while ago. But this has given me a foretaste of what our troops go through on a daily basis to keep Nigerians or keep you and I safe. From Bauchi, Anduna India.
Nigeria on Friday celebrated the 51st edition of its Armed Forces Remembrance Day. But beyond the rather low-key celebrations, the federal government is being urged to review its provisions for the well-being of family members left behind by those that have fallen in battle. Correspondent Aisha Olawi completes the story.
15th of January every year is set aside to honor members of the armed forces, the living and those that have made the ultimate sacrifice. These patriots have laid down their lives in securing the lives and properties of the fatherland. But the nation has not adequately reciprocated beyond these yearly celebrations, which often do not go beyond the laying of wreath and long-winded assurances. Many believe that aside from ensuring the timely payment of necessary entitlements, the wives of fallen heroes should be empowered.
We as a people and as government need to now review our compensation system. Not just that after dying, we take cash, give to the family and walk away. Look at how we give life to their siblings, children and wife after their demise. Or when they get injured, how do they continue having a good life?
The federal government is also being urged to review the process of payment of the entitlement of these patriots, both living and dead, is made less tedious.
When somebody dies, you don't need to know chief of army staff. You don't need chief of air staff. You don't need to know anybody. Naturally, as it's occurring, you are having that lifeline. That it must be institutionalized. Not to just say, okay, come for pension, bring your passport, do this. You already know him when he's servicing. When he's dead, why asking his family to bring his passport, to bring his this, to bring why? That is why I say we must institutionalize our compensation policy.
It is equally important for the federal government to upscale the security infrastructure by providing updated equipment and ammunition to the Nigerian armed forces to reduce casualties.
Next, female lawmakers in the National Assembly say they are ready to toll legislative procedures to pursue 50% affirmative action for more women representation in governance in line with the Beijing conference. Chairperson of the House of Representatives Committee on Women in Parliament, Representative Taiwo Oluga, made this known in an exclusive interview with Silverbird News 24. Representative Oluga, who is from Osun State, decried the underrepresentation of women in parliamentary and appointive positions, pointing out that underground work is ongoing to lobby their male counterparts ahead of the constitution review as soon as the House resumes.
We have resolved to approach it in a legislative way to achieve this purpose, that the underrepresentation of women is enough. It is not acceptable anymore. And so since 25 years ago that we have had the Beijing conference, that 35% affirmative action should be keyed in. It's only here that we're not. So what we think, the way we think we're going to achieve it as a committee this time around is to the Constitutional Review Committee. We have started meeting. All the women in the 9th Assembly has been co-opted.
You are watching Newsblitz, reaching live from Abuja. We'll take a break now and then more stories for you. Stay with us. Now, the rest of the world seems to be moving at a rapid pace concerning youth inclusion in politics. But young people in Nigeria, who currently make up more than 60% of its current population, constantly struggle when it comes to getting a seat at the proverbial table. But hope of a change was rekindled with the signing of the Not Too Young to Run bill by President Muhammadu Buhari in May 2018. The bill saw the reduction in age for eligibility to seek and hold public office in Nigeria, with a new age limit of 35 years for presidential candidates as opposed to 40 years, 30 years for state governorship aspirants and the Senate, and 30 to 25 years for contenders in the House of Representatives and the State House of Assembly. Now, groundbreaking as this bill was, not much progress has been recorded so far in terms of actual representation. Joining me to discuss this subject further is Oladele Nihi. Mr. Nihi is a former president of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. He is also a commissioner at the Pan-African Youth Union, I believe. And then he is the president, executive director at the Youth Rebirth Advocacy and Sensitization Initiative. He is also the director general of the GYB to PYB organization. Thank you for joining us on the news.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, my first question to you is this. We have recorded very low progress. The question is, why have we recorded very little progress in terms of actual youth representation, even after the Not Too Young to Run bill was signed?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to sincerely appreciate President Muhammadu Buhari for even signing the Not Too Young to Run bill into law. And at the same time, also appreciate the lawmakers at the 8th National Assembly for passing the bill, not minding the pressure from with the Nigerian youth. Having said that, it is also important to note that if there's any low pace or recorded as a result of the signing, it may not be unconnected with President Muhammadu Buhari's plea for Nigerian youth to kindly please give him a chance to complete his second term while he was signing the Not Too Young to Run bill into law, which Nigerian youth graciously granted. If you notice, the 2019 presidential election witnessed a situation whereby Nigerian youth unprecedentedly supported President Muhammadu Buhari even beyond the 2015 presidential election. And that is because we felt that to whom much is given, much is expected. For the president to have signed the Not Too Young to Run bill into law, he has given us a place at the table. And now it is now left for us to be able to take this opportunity that the president has granted unto us. And if you look at the time the Not Too Young to Run bill was signed, which is just at the eve of the 2019 presidential election, it was very short. That is one of the reasons, the limitations that we had. But looking at the records and the statistics, it was a very huge success, because as of today, we now have a 34-year-old as speaker in Plateau State. We have a 33-year-old as speaker in Oyo State. We have a 34-year-old as speaker in Kwara State. At a point during the before the Kwara State governor even dissolved the cabinet, we have a 28-year-old as commissioner. So this is a progress that we're talking about. And if you go to Kogi State, for example, you see that almost 90% of the appointees are below 35 years of age. So it means that a lot of people are towing the line of the Not Too Young to Run Act. And at the same time, they also believe in the global turn. If you go all over the world right now, you see that the mood of the world is turning towards a new generation, a new leadership order. And this new leadership order is a leadership order where the youth are taking over leadership. So going straight to your question, I wouldn't say the progress has been that low, considering the time the bill was signed, but I would say that it's work in progress. And that is why we are starting early now to begin to canvass more youth into governance as we move into 2023 election.
Okay, analysts have said the dominance of politics by two main political parties is a challenge to young candidates. What are your thoughts about this?
Previously, before 2019 presidential election, one could say that one of the major problems we have is as a result of the internal politics within the two major parties. And the Nigerian situation is so disturbing because of the kind of money politics that is being played. A situation whereby you have a presidential form being sold as high as 40 million naira. You have the next dominant party, which is PDP, is selling at almost 30 to 35 million naira. You see, this automatically shuts the youth out. And when you now look at going to the other parties, I wouldn't want to say smaller parties, the other parties, you see that one of the major problems we have there at the same time is the spread. Because one of the constitutional requirements is to have national structure, state structure, local government structure, up to world structure. And these are financially money consuming. So these are some of the crises we've had. But as we move into 2023, we're already telling all these political parties, particularly APC and PDP, that it is in your own best interest to make sure that everything that it takes, you have youth as your candidate, because the Nigerian youth, as we are currently, we no longer take a situation where we sit at the back seat in the driving of this country. We want to take the driver's seat of the country. And if you make your form, or you make the political party structures and nomination and the processes very difficult for youth to be able to govern or to be able to participate, you are indirectly shutting your party out of governance. And at the same time, even in our pursuit for youth in leadership, one of the things we're also looking at the financial demands for election in Nigeria is the fact that we are not just looking for a youth, but we're also looking for a youth that has capacity. If you see all over the world, you see election is expensive, even in United States. So we are not just looking for a youth for looking for a youth sake, but we are looking for a young person that has an enviable track record and also has a bit of financial base, so that by the time we are rallying around the person, even we as Nigerian youth can also make contribution to finance the election.
Finally, before we let you go, can you look at the Nigerian state right now and say, oh, this state is really doing well in terms of this is the best state, this is the state that is doing the best or the most in terms of youth, political appointments and elected position? Which state will that be in your own estimation?
Of course, it is obvious. It is even visible to the blind. It's very audible to even the deaf. That as far as Nigeria is concerned today, there is no one that can deny the fact that His Excellency Alhaji Yahya Adoza Bello, the Executive Governor of Kogi State, is doing wonderfully well. He has been doing it since his first time, and he has also replicated it even in his second time. If you go to Kogi State today, like I said, even during the introduction, we have over 85 to 90% of government appointees at all levels as young people. We have not only young people, not only the youth, we also have women involvement in political governance in Kogi State. The 21 local government vice chairmen are all women. The 21 local government council leaders are all women. The 21 local government secretaries of local government are all youth council coordinators at the various local government level. To be to even occupy any position in youth council, you cannot be more than 35. So what it means that at the local level in Kogi State, youth has taken over every stem of government. If you now go within the state, even in terms of women participation, you see that this SSG of the state is a woman, the head of service is a woman, and that is why people like us, who are youth leaders, are already canvassing that Alhaji Yahya Adoza Bello is the best person that we can see that in terms of capacity, in terms of track record of youth involvement in governance, in terms of his achievement in youth participation and women involvement in governance, is the best person to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari come 2023.
You'll have to pay for that campaign right there.
No, it's just a fact, because we as youth leaders, like I always say, we owe Nigerian youth the duty to go around and do this side.
But I'll take your the fact that he has many women are in that government, in his government, as a good step in the right direction.
And not just women, and even the youth. And this is what we want in Nigeria. We want a president that will come 2023 as someone who will have young people as ministers, who will have young people not just as ministers, but in all his cabinets, who will also give women the role that they deserve. The era where you use youth and women to do your campaign, and at the end of the day, after you go back to the old order. We want a new order, and this is why we are calling on. We are even begging him. That is the governor of Kogi State. He has not declared intention, but as youth who have seen what he's doing in Kogi State, we are begging him to say, Alhaji Yahya Adoza Bello, please come and rescue the Nigerian youth.
Mr. Oladele Nihi, Director General of the GOIB to PYB. Bello, thank you very much for coming on the news today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break now, and then when we return, more news. Stay with us. All right, very quickly now on the foreign scene, the United States and several European governments have demanded the release of opposition politician Alexei Navalny from Russian detention. Mr. Navalny, who is 44, was detained soon after his flight from Germany landing in Moscow on Sunday. He was returning to the country 5 months after he was almost killed in a nerve agent attack he blamed on the Kremlin. Moscow has denied any involvement. Russia's foreign minister dismissed the international condemnation. And in sports, defending champions, the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria will look to successfully defend their title and avenge the defeat to Cote d'Ivoire in the opening game of the WAFU B competition when they face the same opponent in today's final. The encounter will kick off at 8 p.m. Nigerian time. You might want to watch that. The Eaglets endured a slow start to the competition, going down to a 1-0 defeat against the Ivorians before battling to a 1-0 draw against perennial rivals Ghana in their second group game. Ghana's 3-1 defeat to Cote d'Ivoire paved the way for Fatayamo's progression and the sides progression into the semi-final. Against all odds, the Nigerian lads edged out one of the tournament's favorite Burkina Faso in the semi-final to set up a date with Cote d'Ivoire in today's final. Many thanks for watching Newsblitz today. I am Shegun Ojumu. Before we go, do remember the coronavirus is still as deadly as ever. Please wash your hands with soap under running water for at least 20 seconds regularly, or use a hand sanitizer. Also, maintain some physical distancing whenever you're outside, and don't forget your face mask. Many thanks for watching. From me, Shegun Ojumu, once again, have a great evening. Bye-bye.